Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to the Honorable Ms. Dea Silvani as the supervisor of the English for its course and all of my beloved friends. Hello everyone. Let's say praise and gratitude to our God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of Allah, we can carry out today's presentation. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Kania Sri Wahyuni, and I am the moderator of this presentation. And before we start the presentation, I will introduce the member of this group. Next slide, please. There are Silva Pujiani, Saeful Anwar, Elsa Fitria Azzahra, Hesty Lestari Pancarini, Jama'ah Syarif, Difa'a Nur Fajri and me, Kania Sri Wahyuni. The introductory session has been complete. Then there will be an explanation of the material. The first material will be delivered by Difa'a. Time and screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator. The first is, what do we call this method? We call this method as pair work speaking method, which will provide opportunities for students to learn speaking through pair work method. The description is, pair work is learners working together in pairs. One of the main motivations to encourage pair work in the English language classroom is to increase the opportunities for learners to use English in the class. In pairs, students practice their speaking skill. Students is divided into pairs and take turns into speaking and retelling information in time steps. It can be concluded that pair work is grouping students into two participants in order that they can collaborate in the process of teaching and learning in the classroom. Sharing and doing activities together there is better in understanding and of learning materials. Pair work increases students' interaction and socialization. Also, it is very helpful for students to engage in goal or and who can use this method? A high school student can use this method because for students at that level, it can be easier for teacher to manage the student. And why don't we include in the elementary school students? Because in Indonesia, there is no English subject at that level. That is, the next material will be delivered by Saeful Anwar.
So the principle of the method, number one, is the teacher provides opportunities for students to practice their conversation.
Bang Ipul, sorry. Bang Ipul, sorry. Ulang deh ti eta. Okay, thank you for eta. I will explain tidinya.
Oh. Okay, thank you, moderator. So now I'm gonna be explaining about the principles of the method. So here we got 4 principles of our project. Number one is the teacher provides opportunities for students to practice conversation. Since our project is based on speaking, so the students will be making a dialogue and then doing a conversation between uh, uh, pair group. And then number two is the teacher doesn't correct students' mistakes in the middle of conversation between students. So we let students to continuing their conversation, and we won't disturb them because it won't be it won't it will become a miserable if we disturb them in the middle of their conversation. And then the next one is the teacher helps the students if they have trouble finding the right words in the conversation. So if we see the students is struggling with their conversation, for example, their for example, the students suddenly stop when they're making a conversation because they're because they are struggling with their word choice to to uh, to say. So we will help them to let them know about the right words. And then the teacher always gives appreciation, whether it is right or wrong. We will appreciate them because the students is trying to become better. So maybe that's all from me. And the next material will be delivered by Hesty, Lestari, Pancarini. Time is yours.
Right, thank you, Saeful Anwar. Now I would like to explain about the procedure or stages of using this method. Alright, the first stage is observing. In this stage, the teacher is introducing the topic of the material, delivering the goal of the subject, and presenting the context through pictures or presenting audiovisual of the material. In this time, the teacher displays the picture or video on projector and demonstrate it in front of the class. All right, the second one is questioning. The learning activity in this stage is ask questions about information that is not understood from what is observed. The students may ask about the unfamiliar words or listening in video, and the teacher can ask some questions as follows. Okay, students, based on the pictures and video, what is in the pictures and video? Like this. The next stage is experimenting. In this stage, students should find out the information about the topic of the material from the textbook. In this stage, the students are also divided into several groups in pairs. One group consists of 2 people to help each other in finding information. Uh, the next stage is associating. In this stage, teacher gives a different topic based on the material to students to have a conversation. This activity draws on cognitive skill to produce appropriate language in context. The last stage is communicating. In this stage, the teacher monitors the students and helps them with the vocabulary they don't know. When students have a conversation, when few minutes of the pair work task was done, the teacher moved on to the reporting of the worksheets. All right, that's enough from me. The next material will be delivered by Kania.
Thank you, Hesty. So what are the advantage of using this method? Number one, it can improve students' speaking abilities and can improve students' social skill because in the classroom they keep practice speaking in English and it will improve their ability and they have to talk with their friends and it will increase their social skill. Number two, the students can practice to speak face to face and also they can learn how to do the dialogue as well. With this, students can increase their level of confidence by do the conversation with their friends and they will also get used to the activity what they are doing. And number three, encourage students' participation and motivation. The more participation from students, the more new thing they can get and with pair work activity, it will increase their motivation in speaking English because students will definitely see and hear other students when they are speaking. And if there are any students who have good speaking skills, and other students will be motivated to practice speaking. Number four, every students get the opportunity to speak, especially for introvert students. Introvert students usually tend to be quiet in class unless they are forced or compelled to speak. And with this pair work, introvert students must have to talk or do speaking activities, and it will also grow their self confidence in speaking. And the last one, Students can learn and teach from each other. With pair work, students can find out their strength and weaknesses from each other, and they can learn from it so that students can get new knowledge. Okay, so the next material will be delivered by Elsa.
Okay, thank you, Kania. And here I will explain about the disadvantages of using this method. 1. Requires a long time to achieve the desired target because not all things in harmony are the same and it is enough to practice patience. And then 2. Firework in a large class will be noisy. The class may be noisy since all students interact and practice their target language at the same time. We need to understand this and it is a natural thing because working in pairs requires mutual interaction. And then 3, there is a possibility where students don't want to be paired with other students. We need to provide direction and understanding so that it's easy to understand. And then last, students may get out of control. That's all for me. The next material will be delivered by Silva.
All right, thank you, Elsa. I'd like to explaining about preparation and warming up activity. In preparation activities, our group took 3 steps. The first one is prepare the topic of the speaking material that will be discussed by students. For example, topics about to dinner, invitation to work on assignment together, invitation to hang out together, and so on. The second one is divide the students into several pair groups based on students' abilities. How do we know the ability of all students? We know every student's ability from the previous meetings. And the last one is reunite a student who is good at speaking with a student who is not really good at speaking. So they will be learning together. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Same as preparation, in the warming up activity, we took 3 steps too. The teacher recalls some lessons from their previous meeting, then distributes the different opinions to the students. Afterward, the teacher explains the instruction of what they are expected to do and gives useful language input. And also the teacher provides a model by giving an example of how to employ useful phrases for expressing the topic and introduce useful language, both planned and incidental. The next material will be delivered by Jama'ah.
Okay, thank you, Silva. In these activities, we have several steps. In the beginning, teacher gives a different topic to each group of students. Then each pair in work discusses and makes their own opinion on the topic given by the teacher. Here, the teacher must control and guide the students. The students are given time to free speaking time with a partner on the topics before the whole class discussion. During this process, the teacher walks around checking and monitoring whether they are using English or not. At times, he engages with students, helps them with vocabulary they don't know. After that, the students are asked to practice the dialogue in front of the class. So each group will be called one by one. Then the students start to make conversation and the students can create the new idea what they want to use in their own language. The next is about warming down activity. Students should report why they discussed previously in pairs for the whole class discussion. Here, the activity is led by the teacher, where he acts as the chairperson and comments on the contents of the report. Then he asks the students' opinions. Students answer the question one by one. The teacher corrects the students' mistakes and the lessons by giving homework and explaining their activities for the next meeting. That's all from me. I'll give it back to moderator.
Thank you, Jama'ah Syarif. We have come to the end of the presentation. So the conclusion is speaking activity can be done by pair work, as explained by my partners earlier. And pair work has its advantage and disadvantage in its use, but still in this way, students can improve their ability to speak English, and they can also improve their social skill and increase their self-confidence and motivation in learning to speak English. The presentation has finished, and thank you to all of you who has listened to our presentation. See you in the classroom, and I hope you always in a good condition. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.